In this section of our tutorial, we're going to take a look now at the multiple lanes that are available for automation. And this is an exciting new feature within Ableton Live version 7. Now again, if you have access to the project files, we're going to open up a new copy of Funky Jam again. This time I'm going to tab key over into our session view, and I'm going to hide the browser. Now what we're going to be taking a look at now is multiple lanes, so we need to have multiple automations on the same track. So I'm going to take the funky drums. Again, we're starting from scratch, so let's pull our volume all the way down, clicking on the record button up here in the top center, then getting my mouse ready to control this parameter and pressing the space bar. And moving. And rewinding and playing back. And again we see the red dot or square confirming there's been some automation. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the beginning. We'll record another parameter. This time I'm going to head in for pan. So again I'm going to arm the record button up here in the top. Get my mouse ready above pan. I'm going to pull it over to the left to start with. And let's begin playback with the space bar. As soon as I hear, I'll begin moving. Off to the left, over to the right, and coming back to center. Okay, let's listen to that again. Rewinding and playing back. Again, a red square by the pan control, and the movement begins. Now, another thing to bear in mind is that even though we're adding automation to an existing arrangement, we're not launching any clips from here, it's often easier to automate many of the mixer parameters from this very screen, and it still is being added from the arrangement point. Okay, now let's automate one of the devices here, and again we're on this audio track for drums, and we've got some dynamic tube distortion here that we can mess with. So I'm going to automate that this pass around. So at the beginning, arming global record in the top center again by clicking on it, and coming down to the drive parameter, ready to click and hold once I begin playback. Spacebar. Lots of distortion. Pulling back. Okay, let's listen to that again. Stopping and playing. Let's watch our drive parameter. More distortion. Okay, so now we've got several parameters automated. Let's tab key back over and go to our arrangement view. Now I'm going to fold up the other tracks just for clarity of visibility by clicking on the little triangles here. And we're going to look at the top track now, and I want to say the first automation I want to see is track volume. Now here we can see that it starts, it comes up, and then jumps back down. I'm going to delete that down point, double clicking, and it'll stay up now. Now normally what would happen is if you wanted to see another automation, like I'm switching the pan, you could only see one at a time. That is not the case anymore. Let's go back to track volume. Let's use this little plus key here to open up another one. So I'm going to put this back on track volume here. Going to panning. Now we can see panning here. Once I click plus again, another lane, this automation will shift down into a new lane. You have track volume, track panning, and now finally for my third, I can open up the dynamic tube audio effect and look at the drive. So once we've done that, now we can see all three at the same time. Now this can be very helpful when you're trying to control things that interrelate with each other. Such as, let's say if I were pulling open a cutoff frequency, making it more bright, I could pull the volume down at the same time to compensate for that. Also, as we zoom in, we can also get details about what's happening in relationship to the audio waveforms. So if we are specific up and down points we want to sync with a point in the drum file, for example, we can do that. So if I didn't want to hear this, I'll double click and pull this down. And that would eliminate the drive component from the audio effects at that point, so we'd have one clean drum hit and a half here. Let's play back. Now it's not very audible there. Let's go ahead and pull this down. Click and hold. Move this down. So we still have normal editing here. Now pull this point down. And let's listen. Play again from clicking up here. So we clearly have no distortion here and a significant amount here. Now we can keep opening up as many lanes as we want, and we can also fold them away and pull them back open. So that's a quick look at multiple lanes of automation, and again, it can be very helpful to see several lanes at the same time so you can synchronize some movement, not only to the waveforms but also to other existing automation.